Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. As you may or may not know, this is How to Drum and Bass, where it is my job to take what popular artists are doing and to teach it to you so that you can improve your drum bass production. And today I want to make a quick disclaimer. If you don't like the new age jump up kind of stuff, then you should probably go ahead and enjoy in another video, because today we're going to be talking about jump up laser stabs. Sexy. This is a sound that's super prevalent in that Belgian jump up stuff. Artists like Kryptek, Captain Bass, Primate, Anulix, and a whole bunch of other sort of more underground people are making these sounds and making crazy tunes with them. But also it's been showing its face a lot more and more in big drum bass festivals like Rampage, Let It Roll, and even a little bit in Liquidity, where artists are playing nastier sets with these Belgian jump uppy kind of sounds. So let's have a look at how we can make one of these crazy laser stabs in Serum and Ableton. Now, if you want to just get the whole Ableton rack as a preset or just the Serum as a preset, dive into the link in the description. You can download it for free over there. All right, let's dive in. All right, so let's talk first about what it is that we're trying to do here, because we're trying to make a very specific sound. And this sound actually isn't that much of a percentage the Serum patch or the source sound as it is the delay that's added on top of it. Essentially, the laser stab or any sort of lasery sound that's similar to it is a very short, plucky patch, usually of a spectral or digital wavetable, that gets put on a massive delay with a very short delay time and lots of feedback. So let's quickly cook up a Serum patch and then see how this delay thing works to make the sound. This is what we're aiming to get. And then at the end of this video, I'll show you how this can sound pretty awesome in the context of a Belgian jump up style song. All right, so all we really need is a oscillator that's got something like a spectral or a digital wavetable. It doesn't really matter all that much. It'll give you slightly different timbres every time, as long as you just get something that's really got squelchy lines like this. And you can just find one of these and sort of adjust the wavetable position until it sounds the way that you want it to sound. So without any modulation, just the wavetable, it would sound like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to make an LFO here to control the level so that it becomes sort of a plucky sound. And then also what we want to do is we want to get another LFO that moves really quickly onto the chorus pitch here. So we're going to drag that here so that you get something like that. And if we have a look in the matrix, you can see that we put the chorus pitch pretty high up. But again, you can blend this to taste. So now we've got this. Now all we need to do is add some type of delay on top of it to get that long sort of reverberating tail that makes it its own sound. So we can go ahead and do that in Serum. So let's grab a delay. But right now the delay is way too spread out. So we're going to bring this all the way down. We're going to put this one at 64 and this one 2, or maybe we put it at 132 later, but let's see. And then we're going to increase the mix to something very high, and we're going to increase the feedback to something very high. There we go. That already sounds a lot more like it. We can change one of the channels too, make it sound even more dissonant, or make this one faster. Put them both at 32. Whatever you want. Right now we're going to go for something like this. And then what you can do is this line here determines what part of the signal gets delayed. So you can sort of collect a band of frequencies here, and that's going to make a very big difference in the timbre of your stab. So ooh, now it's getting gnarly, right? And you can blend the feedback knob as well to sort of make it more stabby. You gotta watch out that it doesn't start ringing. So that's already pretty powerful. Hey, so sorry to interrupt, but if you like the sound that we're making in this tutorial and you want similar sounds, then maybe you want to consider checking out our Belgian Jump Up preset pack, which contains over 50 super high quality presets for Serum, which truly has the nastiest sounds of any Belgian Jump Up preset pack out there. It's got laser stabs, alien stabs, it's got laser beams. I could go on a whole rant about it, but you can see it for yourself if you just go to howtodrumandbass.com and you can listen to what the pack sounds like. All right, let's get on with the video. Now, let's say you don't have Serum. You can also do it with the standard Ableton Delay plugin in much the same fashion. We're just gonna click this sync button here so that we can get the time, and just gonna bring it down to somewhere between 20 and let's say 80, and just a high feedback, something like 70%, and a high dry wet as well. And we got exactly the same module here. This seems to be about the sweet spot. We can increase the feedback, increase the dry wet. You don't want to put the dry wet at 100% because otherwise it's going to have delay before the signal starts, obviously, because we're using the delay plugin. And then you would have to compensate for that, which is not what we want. And so then with this knowledge, one fun thing that you can do to sort of get creative is to try more creative delay plugins. So for example, there's a really cool one by Audio Damage called Discord 4, which I find makes the most powerful laser bass stabs. And essentially what we can do in here is we can control a bit more parameters. So there's this granular mode here, and you can control each left and right separately, although I have actually linked them now. And just gonna take this size down real quick. And the period here, period is how fast it goes, as far as I understand. And these region knobs are how much feedback occurs. And then there's another really cool feature, which is the crossover X region, which actually, this is the feedback for left, this is feedback for right, and this is how much they feed into each other. And somehow that also does something to the sound. So we have a size of 26 here. Let's bring all of those knobs down, right, and see sort of what's going on. And let's start bringing that region up. So that's essentially just the feedback. So that's already starting to sound pretty good. And then what we can do is we can change the period here. You can put it differently on both of them if you want. And then there's this size button, which is really what kind of does it. All right, so let's see what we can do with this plugin. Right now, this is our sound. So let's go into granular mode here, which is the one that I think yields the most powerful results. And then let's see what we can do. We've got this size button here. Let's just turn that all the way up. And actually, let's link the right to the left so that we get the same. And then let's also up this period button. And then let's start adding this feedback. Oops. And let's start adding some cross feedback. And let's move this filter a bit down here. And then let's start decreasing this time button, which is essentially delay time, to something very low. Something like 44. Maybe lower. Let's say 42. And then let's start increasing the feedback. Oops. And then we're going to unlink these, and we're going to just set slightly different ones on each of them. We can increase this size button, make it sound extra powerful. Let's maybe increase it again. Let's put it at 50. Maybe let's link left to right. And so what you can see is you can get all kinds of different timbres by changing the parameters on the delay. And if you have any creative delay plugins with more knobs that maybe add some saturation or add a certain coloration to your delay, that's how you get the really juicy sounds. And then of course, after that, you can go nuts as much as you want. You can add compression, you can add any sort of other coloring to your sound that you want. Although I will say that aside from maybe OTT and volume, the sound doesn't need much extra processing. I will say that it's a little bit messing around with the buttons as you saw me doing just now to get the right sound out of it. But once you find it, you'll know that you'll hit the sweet spot and you can throw it right in the mix. So let's dive into a tune that I've been working on recently, which is pretty fun and just a little bit crazy, and that employs this sound, I think, in a really nice fashion. So you can see how something this crazy fits into something that you can play out in a club or on the dance floor to make people go nuts. All right, so we're in an Ableton project for a pretty crazy tune that I've been working on, which there's a 90% chance that it's not your thing, but I don't care because I think this is super funny and pretty damn hard hitting. So let's see. We've got the laser made with the Discord 4 plugin. Same way we just did it, except I tweaked some of the settings in Discord to get the sound that I wanted, which are these settings right here. So a very short time, big size, period on 20, and then these crossover settings. And then the filter changed towards here, because also here the filter colors that tonality of the delay, which is essentially 80% of the sound. I put the mix at 100%. Actually, because I don't care about the delay this time, that it's fine for me in this particular instance, and I increased the output a little bit. And you can see there's some LFO settings here, but I'm actually not using them. And that sound ends up sounding like this. Or in loose notes, it'd be something like... All right, so because this sound is very to the side and also quite thin, I did add some additional processing to it. You can see a whole bunch of devices turned off here. I didn't actually use those. Still need to take them out. But I did add a glue compressor. I low cut it because I'm putting a sub under it, which you can see here. But that's really about it. But I did want to have something that underlies it to give it more body, because it's going to be like a really big part of my track. And I feel like some of these Belgian Jumpup sounds, they're so up in those sort of middle high frequency range, you just need a little bit of a bass between the sub and that to just give it the power that it needs in your mix. So I went ahead and made a really simple Serum patch. Actually, it's a bass that I created for a reproduction of another Jumpup song that just sounds like this. Or if we solo it the way that it's in my track, it sounds like this. It sounds pretty gnarly, but it's just this Serum patch with 2 waves like this, a phasing filter, and just some standard EQ. But you can honestly just, like, you build something really simple. It's not really the point of this video. And together, layered like this, they will sound like this, together with a sub. Pretty cool. And so in the context of this track that I'm working on, this is how you could put it into a song. Let's go.
Let's get all sexy.
All right. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much again for watching, and I hope you learned something. If you did, let me know what you learned, what was most valuable to you, and if you have any other tips on this particular sound, let me know, because I'm always looking for ways to improve. That's the video. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.